Mark Johnson, Chief Communications and Marketing Officer for Davidson College.
So in August, Davidson unveiled their new logo, something that had been a process for about 5 or so months. Can you tell me a little bit about how the college decided to unveil a new logo?
A little longer than that, actually. When President Hicks came into office in 2022, he made clear that he wanted Davidson to be better known. So why do we want to be better known? It's like the way we fulfill our mission here is through this amazing community of smart, driven, and kind people. And we recruit students, we recruit faculty, we seek grants, we seek donors. We want to make that easier. We want to get students from as broad a range of backgrounds as possible, and we want to get the best faculty as possible. And so if we're better known, then it's easier to do all the things that makes the college stronger, that helps us fulfill our mission. So that was an aim of his, and that was one of the first things that he and I talked about, was how to go about that. Our identity is often through our logos. At that time there was multiple logos, and it was a difficult situation because we had 7 different logos that we were using. And so if we're going to make ourselves better known, the starting point is we need to be consistent about how we identify ourselves. And that identification needs to reflect truly who we are. And so that began the process in that fall of 2022 of looking at how do we develop a new visual identity.
You talked a little bit about how Davidson is a brand and how you're kind of marketing to students across the nation and internationally on how to bring students in. Are you doing this outreach and changing the logo because you feel like you didn't do that super well in the past, or just because you think you could do it better in terms of your branding?
It's a school that's always done very well. We've always been highly ranked as a liberal arts college, so there's a little bit of a sense of we're doing very well, why do we need to promote ourselves? And then a little bit, there are some folks that probably think marketing is not the kind of thing we ought to be doing. So that combination really kept us for a long time from promoting ourselves. And through that time, a lot of different logos kind of gathered because there wasn't a lot of focus on how we identify ourselves. And so we ended up with that kind of a mix of not particularly well coordinated logos. And if we were going to proceed with making ourselves better known, we needed to be more consistent, and the way we identified ourselves needed to really reflect the institution, needed to reflect that this is this place with, I mentioned that humility, that's true, but also there's a boldness, there's a confidence that the graduates here can go out and solve big problems in the world.
Yeah, in terms of the logo, why this logo, why the DC, and why did you decide to bring in a new Wildcat?
On the DC, there's a couple things that work there. When our admission folks would go out, and I think I hear this from students as well, in some parts of the country they would say they were from Davidson, and the person would ask, Dickinson? Denison? We were running into the difficulty of needing to show our distinctiveness. We needed to stand out from our peers. And if you looked at the Atlantic 10 conference that we're in, there was Davidson, Duquesne, and Dayton, all represented by a red D. And so looking at how within the logo do we make that distinction? And one of the points was that back in the 1980s, they took college off of how we identified ourselves and stuck with Davidson. We brought it back because among these other schools, that adds, it's like one piece of distinctiveness. And so we wanted to line up lots of different pieces. So that was bringing college back in, adding putting the D and the C together reflects that, and reflects the strength of the combined community here. As for the Wildcat, frankly, the one we had was pretty outdated and was within a diamond, which was going away, and we wanted something that looked a little tougher.
So right behind you is the Wildcat
Mm-hmm.
over your right shoulder. And the new logo seems to embody that a little bit more. Was that going into the decision-making process at all to have it resemble the Wildcat that's on campus a little bit more?
That was part of the design decision. One thing we wanted to do with the Wildcat is if you look at the lettering in the Davidson College word, call it the word mark, you notice that it looks like it's etched in granite, and there are these edges and sharp points to it. So one thing, we wanted the Wildcat to reflect that a little bit. So if you look at the Wildcat, I mean, his fur, his ears, got these kind of points. And the Wildcat statue behind us provided a great model for that. And so our partner consulting firm latched onto that. I mean, there were great aspects already here. I mean, we talked about the D and the C. There's a combined D and C on the Alvarez College Union. There's one on the front of Chambers, so it ties back into the history of the college.
So you mentioned that it ties back into the history of the college. Getting away with the bar and diamond logo, people would say, oh, that's been here for 30 so odd years. Why did you decide to reconnect to further back in time in the history of the logo instead of just sticking with the bar and diamond?
The bar and diamond went away because it really was just a creative construct by the agency back then that helped design it. It really had no connection and meaning to the college, and frankly looked outdated. It looked like the 1980s. Bringing college back into it, and it was frankly it was we sort of stumbled across the fact that it's already there. It was on the buildings, and if you look at there, we found a photo of basketball shorts from the 1960s where it's on there.
As you're starting to unveil the new logo, I'm sure you're going to have to remove it from where it's been already. So how long do you think that process is going to take in terms of removing the logo, and how do you see it kind of shaping out within the next year or so?
It'll take a while. It's in lots of places. We discovered it's on every clock in every classroom, and I don't think anybody knew that or recognized it. What we're trying to do is in the more visible places, get the new visual identity in place. You'll see it on the new football field. You will see it on the basketball court this season, and in a lot of other places. But you'll probably see some of the old marks still around for a while, because it will take us a while to replace all of them.
In terms of feedback that you've gotten on the logo, would you say that you've been getting overwhelmingly a lot of support, or would you say that you're kind of getting mixed reviews on the logo right now?
Overwhelmingly positive. I think folks were ready for an update, and when they hear the work and thought that went into what it represents and how it represents the college, it's very much appreciated, and they see the elements that we talk about. It's not been without complaints. I think anytime you introduce change, is something that's been around for 2 or 3 decades. So there could be folks who that was what was there when they went to school here. So a little bit of that. I've heard a couple different adjectives that I think more than others. Sharp is one that has come out a lot because it is bold. It's a design that captures your attention, that stands out from our peers. I've heard some folks use say elegant, and that it does look like engraving. So I mean, those are the ones that kind of that pop up a bit. We made sure all students and staff and faculty got T-shirts at the start of the year with that on it, and I've just been really boosted by the seeing all the folks that continue to wear those around campus.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.